All right, another Phillies regular season will begin Thursday afternoon in Washington. And as we do every March at about this time, let's preview the season with the radio voice of the Phillies, Scott Franzke. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hey, Chet. How are you? Good to see you.
Doing all right, doing all right. Well, let's get right to it. We've heard so much debate, not just this spring really, but the last couple of years about the Phillies lineup, particularly the leadoff hitter, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, or maybe this season it'll change from game to game based on the opposing pitcher or other factors. Can a hybrid lineup like that work, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can work. I think you're going to see the same basic hitters at the top of the lineup in the same basic location. I do think that early in the season, you're going to see a few different configurations. The basic order of things might change a little bit from day to day based on matchups. But yeah, I think most of the data suggests that you're not going to gain that much of an advantage. So then it comes down to, well, who's comfortable where and who likes to hit where. And so, that's up for the manager to try to figure out along the way. And I think Rob Thompson will try a few things, especially early in the year.
How about JT Realmuto? Will he get more days off this season? And if so, is Marchand up to the task?
Well, they always say they're going to give JT more time off, and it never totally seems to work that way. I think Marchand will be up to the task. I think he's a good catcher. You won't lose a lot defensively, and that's saying something. But Rafael is a very good defensive catcher, and in the limited time he's been in the big leagues, he's shown a little aptitude with the bat. So yeah, again, it changes your lineup a little bit. You shuffle things around a little bit if JT's not in there. But yeah, I think by and large they feel comfortable about where they're at that position.
We expect to see Max Kepler, I know you like him, and Brandon Marsh in left and center field most days. But how will Johan Rojas fit in this year?
Well, some of that is predicated on what Brandon does. Brandon's going to get some opportunities, especially early against lefties, to show that he's improved and show that he can handle left-handed pitching. So if he does that, then there are fewer and fewer opportunities for Johan. But I do think you'll see defensive switches late in the game, perhaps, and you'll make some changes there. But, again, early on, if Brandon Marsh is hitting well against lefties, he's going to play a lot. And then if he's not, then that job goes to Rojas against righties.
Will Bryce Harper, do you think, get back to MVP caliber Bryce this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bryce is Bryce, and I don't see any signs of him slowing down. So yeah, if he's healthy, I would fully expect a pretty good year out of Bryce.
How about Bryson Stott? He had a rough year last year, had some injury issues. What do you expect from Stott this year?
Well, all reports in spring training are good. Looking at him during spring training, he looks like he's swinging free and easy. He looks like the guy he was 2 years ago. That would be a huge boost for the offense because, again, I've kind of touted Bryson as a guy who could potentially man the leadoff spot for the Phillies. He could hit for a high average. He'd draw some walks. He can obviously steal bases. He's got gap power, a few home runs here and there, but yeah, I everything we've seen in spring training, again, spring training numbers are what they are. They don't always translate into results in the regular season, but I like what I've seen so far.
Regarding the rotation, I think everybody feels good about Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, and newcomer Luzardo, but the Ranger-Suarez back injury is a definite concern, plus the fact that they've anointed Taijuan Walker to take over the fifth spot in the rotation to start the season anyway. Are those worries about Suarez and Walker justified?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about two players who dealt with the same thing last year, right? Walker struggled in his spot in the fifth spot in the rotation, lost his spot. Ranger, he struggled with back injury last year. So they can be tricky. And if you keep getting in this situation where it keeps coming back, then obviously, I mean, everybody is saying down there in Florida that it's not a huge concern of theirs, that they feel like he'll get through it and he won't be long on the IL. But yeah, I think anytime it happens, you're concerned a little bit.
Let's move to the bullpen, which is always a focal point for fans. Orion Kerkering is back. Matt Strom had some shoulder issues, but should be okay. Newcomer Jordan Romano will be a big piece out there. But how about the spring Jose Alvarado had? I mean, 9 innings, just 3 hits, 3 walks, 20 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. I heard you on WIP the other day, Scott, saying Alvarado right now is at the top of the trust list.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Thompson has said to us on a few different occasions, he said he doesn't think he's ever seen him better. And we've seen him pretty darn good at different times. So that's saying a lot. But yeah, he looks phenomenal. He looks confident. He looks sharp. His stuff is electric. His command is really good. So again, you're talking about spring training numbers, and you're not always facing the top competition in those situations. But I do think from all indications, Jose Alvarado's back to where he was a couple of years ago, and that is to be one of the best left-handed relievers in the game.
All right, Bryce, JT, Schwarber, Castellanos, and Wheeler, they're all in the 32 to 34 range age-wise. Nola's going to be 32 in June. Is this something of a do-or-die season for this group, do you think, before some big changes might be required?
Well, I mean, given the fact that you do have a collection of free agents coming up, Schwarber, Realmuto, Ranger, that obviously limits the universe for those guys potentially if you don't re-sign them. And I mean, anytime you get somebody in your, early to mid 30s, you're starting to wonder if you're on the downside. Athletes are staying sharper and better for much longer than they used to. So maybe they're not there yet. They're awfully good players. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you've been there and you haven't reached the ultimate goal, you start to get worried and you start to think, well, is this going to be our final shot at it? But we'll see. But there's no doubt there's some guys that are on expiring contracts, and maybe that actually turns out to be a good thing because guys play for that next deal.
The NL East should be quite competitive this year with the Braves, Mets, and Phillies all looking like playoff teams. We'll see. Regarding your radio broadcast partner, Scott, did LA and Stock get enough work in down in Florida to get ready for the season?
Oh, yeah, they all did their time. That's for sure. We don't require quite as many reps as the players maybe do. And so I think they're ready to go. I know I am. I'm excited. And I'm ready to start doing baseball that matters rather than spring training, which obviously doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot.
Finally, Scott, the internet tells me that you joined the Phillies radio operations in 2006, which means, if my math is correct, this is your 20th season with the Phillies. Can it really be 2 decades already?
It's hard to believe. It really is. I never envisioned it would be quite a ride quite like this, but it's been incredibly enjoyable. And happy to have it still going on. Yeah, 20 years kind of snuck up on me.
Well, Scott, thanks for keeping this annual tradition alive. It's much appreciated. Let's hope for a great Philly season.
All right, thanks, Chet. Appreciate it.
It's time to make our fearless forecast, I think.
I think it is.
Our Philly season prediction. You polled a few of our resident experts as well, but I don't know who or what they said. So lay it on us.
All right. Well, yeah, I did contact a whole bunch of folks, and I looked online for some other ones, and this is what I found. I left ours blank for the time being, but our pal James Seltzer from WIP says 93 wins and a loss in the NLCS to the Dodgers. Jack Fritz, his high hopes partner, also said 93 wins, but he has him going to the World Series against the Red Sox. Paul Hagen, who's going to be our guest next week, 92 wins, but a loss in the NLCS. If you look further down, 3 guys from The Athletic all say the Phillies will not only win the National League pennant, but will also win the World Series. Tyler Kepner, Chandler Rome, and Zach Meisel all have the Phillies winning the World Series. Matt Gelb has them losing in the series to the Rangers. So just some of the picks that are out there. As I mentioned earlier, last year the Phillies won 95, but they were on pace at one point for 117 wins. The over-under last year, I think, was 89.5, and they won 95. I bet the over on the Phillies the last 2 or 3 years, and I cashed. And this year, the over-under is 90.5. A few books have them at 91.5. Well, I'm going to bet the over again for a 3rd or 4th straight year, and I am hoping to cash again. I'm saying 93 wins, Bill, but a loss in the NLCS to either the Braves or Dodgers. What say you, Bill?
I didn't know that I had picked 90 last year. Because I picked 90 this year until you mentioned it earlier. So I'm going with 90. again, I guess. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. I'm not in love with this team. I'm in love with the players. If they don't learn to play the game differently and drive in runs and play some small ball and do some other things, I don't see them being as good this year. If they're going to go up, try to hit home runs and walk back to the dugout, I don't see them being as successful. I don't think the Mets are going to be, just because they signed Sosa, the Braves are going to be pretty good. I'm going, they're going to get knocked out in the second round.
All right, so here's the collection of picks. You say 90
Did you hear
wins
any of that?
knocked out in the NLDS. I have 93. Boop, 99 and a World Series title, but Boop also predicted a Sixers world title. So I don't know, Boop. I hope he's right. There you go, Bill.
All right. We'll see how it goes.